Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to the third episode of Blaming the End User. Hi, Marijn.
Hey, the scandal of Scandinavia. Hi, you see. How are you, man?
I am good. I'm good. I'm looking forward for the next few weeks. So,
Really?
yeah, we will meet each other quite often, right?
Oh yeah. Oh, we're even gonna share the same house.
Oh, yeah, we do that.
Damn.
London, huh?
Yeah.
London.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
London is so expensive that we actually have to spend our time there together, the same house, probably in the same bed because we're so poor. We
Exactly.
can't stay there.
Okay. So today we have a little bit of a special episode. As you can remember from the first two episodes, we had some rough lingo every now and then. But today,
No,
we have a
we
bit
did
more of
not.
yeah, we have a bit of a more business-friendly session. That's why I also wear the tie today. And just as a side note, it's the tie of my son because I couldn't find my own. Anyway, so
Nice.
we
Nice.
have a bit of a special session today, and actually we have a guest here. So let me introduce our guest. So welcome, Lady Melissa of the House of Hubbard, the first of her name, the Flow Queen, the Mistress of Teams Collaboration, the Breaker of Endless Loops, and the wordsmith of the book Mastering Microsoft Teams. We salute you.
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
Hey!
Oh, let's have a look that you're here. Yes, you are here. Hello,
Whoa!
Yay!
So cool.
Oh, wow, I'm like freezing and seeing myself in a couple spots. All right, nice.
let's-
Yeah,
let-
thank you for
Hey,
having
Melissa,
me.
how are you?
I'm
How are
great, and
you?
I will be seeing you all soon too.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You're coming as well to
Yes.
Germany.
Uh-huh.
Yay!
Yeah,
Nice.
so for those who don't know me, I'm Melly Hub. I am a project manager. I focus lately on Microsoft Flow and Microsoft Teams. Today we're going to be talking about Microsoft Teams a little bit and blaming the end users, I'm told, which is not a nice thing to do, by the way. Big fan of the show, guys.
you.
Really had me laughing last time. Yeah, so I'm an MVP focused in Flow. I wrote a book. It's called Mastering Microsoft Teams. It's a end user and business owner guide to getting started and how to use Teams and how to set up things for your user adoption and governance to be successful. I like to do Muay Thai. I have a cat. I wish he was here. Oh man, he's not here. I'd hold him up. Need my sidekick. And I'm the organizer of the DC Flow user group, the first in America, by the way.
Wow. Yeah, so you're based in DC, right?
Wow.
Yes. Right
Cool.
now, I'm in the sunny state of Virginia, just outside of DC.
Nice. Well, welcome in our small but nice show. So as you said, today we are talking a little bit about Teams, but before we do that, some shameless self-promotion. As you said already, you wrote
I
the
already
book.
did that.
Yeah,
Yes. So,
Mastering Microsoft Teams. So tell a little bit more about the content of the book. So for who is the target group and what is the value when when people read your book?
yeah, so this book, of course, if you have never used Microsoft Teams and you're wondering what is this and what do I do with it and how do I do things, it will talk about what it is and it will give you step by step how to do things. Of course, this came out last summer and the product changes super quick. So everyone asked me like, is your book still good? And yes, there's been things added. Yes, there's been small changes, but the content is still good. You'll still learn a lot and you won't be totally lost by trying to follow our instructions versus what's in the product right now. But we do want to do an update eventually. We're waiting for a few key feature releases before
Project channels.
Yes,
Sorry.
exactly. Private channels, yes, because we know that that's going to change a lot as far as governance and
Oh yeah.
how Teams works. It's got to. It's such a big thing. Yeah. So, This is, I would say, is mostly for end users, as we call it, the End User Guide to Practical Usage, Collaboration, and Governance.
Oh,
But we
nice.
go, yeah, but we go pretty deep into some of the governance pieces. So those business owner, decision maker, IT pros can still get something out of it as well.
Cool. And you wrote the book together with Matthew Bailey, right?
Oh yes, how could I forget to mention? We should have had a picture of Matthew.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Sorry, Matthew. Yes, Matthew and I, my good friend Matthew, he's actually living close by in the DC area as well. He's done some big Teams projects. Having him as a co-author was such a delight, and
Great.
yeah, we've worked. We do sessions together. We're actually doing a virtual team summit, and we're speaking together. People usually love this one we do.
Virtual team summit. That sounds interesting.
It's free. Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's enough I'll get to more
No.
shameless self-promotion later. Oh, here we go.
No
Some
more
more.
self-promotion. Go on.
Nice.
Yeah, so we will meet at the European Cooperation Summit by the end of this month.
Where's Moran's picture?
Oh, yeah, where is Marijn? Marijn, you're
gonna
okay,
be
right?
there, Moran.
I'm there as well, yeah, but I couldn't find my picture. So,
Here you are.
yeah, there I am. Yes, I'll be delivering a session from 12 at night to 1 at night about whiskey and vodka and whatever. Yeah, something like that.
I still remember.
I've been to that session already.
Yeah, I still remember when I shot that picture, Marijn.
I've got no idea. Got no idea.
Yeah, what happens in MVP Summit stays in MVP Summit.
That's right, MVP Summit. That's right.
Oh my goodness, it's my first time in Europe, you guys, and to be at this conference is going to be sweet. There's so many good sessions.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, there will not be a boring moment.
No.
Oh no.
Okay.
Okay,
right.
good. Let's delve into the topic.
Yeah, enough talk about us. Let's start blaming the end user. Come on.
Yeah, performing Teams. So musing on user adoption for Microsoft Teams. So Melissa, what made you actually to write your book and especially about the content of user adoption? So how do you, in your mind, so what is the importance of that? I'm a big fan of user adoption topics. So hearing that from you would be really interesting to hear.
Well, a little bit more about my background is when I started off in SharePoint, I was strictly on United States government projects. So if you picture huge SharePoint rollouts, tons of different farms, a lot of different site collections, a lot of different people who have touched the environment and changed it over time. I was a contractor, so I supported a lot of different agencies, and I saw some who had it very locked down, some who had a governance plan, some who were doing training, others that weren't, some who just really weren't using it all. I just saw a really vast difference between the user adoption of SharePoint, and when I saw users using it, I saw so much value and the time saved and et cetera, all the reasons we love SharePoint. We can automate our processes and we can quickly work on things together and we can get our message and announcements for our organization across, and that's only if people use it. And I saw a lot of, kind of just dead SharePoint sites, and it's kind of like, why are we working on this? People were still just saying, oh yeah, okay, cool, SharePoint, great. Here's, even some of the people some of our customers we were helping, they would still just send us a file in an email after the 20th time of saying, just put that in your SharePoint site. This is where we're working on stuff. So seeing that happen in SharePoint, and then hearing about Teams and finding out what Teams is, thinking about it, like, this is what I've always really wanted. I've always really wanted to be able to chat and talk with my colleagues, with my teammates, and be working at the same time in tandem in one thing instead of emailing over here, Skype over here, SharePoint over here, everything. I have ADD, if you haven't noticed already. I do a lot of stuff. So having it in that one spot, it really helps, because sometimes I'm like working on this, or I'm writing this email, I forgot what it's even about, and now I'm back in SharePoint doing something, and now I'm over here. So when I found out about it, I really loved the idea. But then when I thought about, oh, you get a SharePoint site collection for every team. Oh, anybody could create a team if you leave that on by default. And what's going to happen? Are people going to actually use this? Is this what can I do to try to push this in the right direction?
Right.
And then I got really into it, and then I wrote a book and I did stuff.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, the organic growth of SharePoint sites, we all remember that time. So let's not try to repeat, or let's try not to repeat the same problem with Teams. So in your perspective, also you, Marijn, what do you think is the right way to do? I mean, how would you govern this?
Well, first off, Melissa, everything that you said just resonated with me. A few hours ago, I got an email with a Word document in attachment, and the name of the document was copy of name of the document .x. So like, what the hell? I'm also doing a project right now with a big multinational company. I'm not gonna say anything, but those blue pills that you see here on the screen, they might give you a direction of what kind of company it is. So it's a big multinational company. Of course, you work
for that one.
And they are rolling out Teams without any rules. Everyone in that company can create their own team, can give it the name whatever they want. No, there are no rules, no bars, no naming conventions, no whatevers. So
are they doing anything underneath? Is IT doing anything underneath to govern?
I have no idea. I don't think so. It is It is the Wild West. It's So everything that you said, site sprawl, abandoned sites, all these things, that's all gonna happen very, very, very soon here at that customer. So the question is, how do we turn that around?
Yeah.
So we come up with governance, we come up with a number of policies on how we want it to grow. And this morning I saw a video from Lorian Strand, so 40 rapid fire questions to Lorian Strand. And one of the things he said that was really profound, I think, I also tweeted it. It was something like, you need a way to control, of a controlled way for the chaos. So there is gonna be chaos. That's gonna happen anyway.
Yeah.
But you need a way how you can not really control the chaos, but grow in a control. And I think that was really spot on, because it is going to happen. If you have a large organization with lots of people, it is going to go everywhere, and there are going to be issues, and there's going to be stuff flying around and hitting fans. And you just need a basic set of guidelines, baseline governance, and everything will flow from that.
So what you would do in practice, Marijn, so you would basically stop the normal way of creating teams and would use other ways of provisioning teams with forms and some validation behind that, or
at least some kind of self-service with a proper naming convention.
Mm-hmm.
I would start with that. So for me, everyone can create a team. I don't care. But I don't want somebody to create a team with the name IT or marketing or general manager or whatever.
And you can do that. You can block words from being in your names, and you can set the prefixes and suffixes. So that's one thing. I would definitely block those things you don't want people to create, or create them ahead of time. Create teams and hide them from everyone so no one can.
Okay.
Oh, no, they,
So,
yeah.
so
No, never mind.
That's a good one. That's a nice one.
yeah. So governance is important. So what else? I think
We always end up talking about that, right? It's like user adoption, and then we talk about governance. Does that happen to you guys? That happens to me every time.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Because
So-
you need some rules to work around, because you can only adopt a certain way of working if you know where you're going to.
yeah.
If you know the rules.
So when we talk about when we talk about teams and user adoption, so there's not only governance, but we also need people who really understand the whole thing and can actually guide their end users. And so talking a little bit about team owners. So Melissa, you will talk about this topic as well in the conference. So
Yes, now I'm a
what
team
we'll talk
owner.
about that. Okay.
Team owners are very special with special powers. That's why I'm wearing my hat for this slide. Very
Okay. special
hat for me. And yeah, so I do a whole talk about team owners because when you think about SharePoint, who are our champions in SharePoint? Our site owners. Well, Teams has team owners, and they are very special because they are going to be the ones fighting against the evils of communication barriers, disorganization, lost content and ideas, and the scariest wasted time. I should have made that the clown. I need to switch that.
Yeah.
Wasted time should be
Clowns
the
are
clown.
so scary.
Yeah, and
Ah.
they're your digital workplace heroes because
Well,
so
guys, pumpkins totally give me the creep, so it's fine.
pumpkins give you the creeps.
Yeah, totally.
Oh my goodness! And now we learned something new about
Yeah.
you.
Okay, okay.
So it's, you know what you need to have in that house in London is some
Yes.
strategically placed pumpkins.
No. What like that?
Strategically placed pumpkins. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, if as we've said, there is one idea for the self-service organic growth. Anyone can create a team. So once you create the team, you're the team owner. Can that be changed? Yes. Can you add more team owners? Yes. But basically, you're saying anyone in your organization could be a team owner because if they can create a team, they can be a team owner. So once you become a team owner, you get access to a certain list of settings. You can completely change how that experience is going to be for the members of that team. So if all three of us are team owners with three different teams, and there's people who are working in all of our teams because, let's face it, we don't all just work right in one team in a silo. We're cross-functional at the time.
Right.
If we're working in several teams and the team owners are all screwing around with those settings, we're going to get really confused and annoyed because it's going to be different each time. It's going to be, why can't I delete my message? Why can't I edit my message? Why can't I post something in the general channel? Why can't I use a GIF? Why can't I use a sticker? What's happening? They can change a lot of things. And also, they're the ones who are granting access to your precious content. So they, when you think about lost content and ideas, and then you add in the guest user scenario where if you've got that turned on for your organization and you can add guests, then
Yeah.
the team owners are the ones, those are my few first thoughts here. Are you following?
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
how did that change from if you look at, for example, SharePoint before? So if somebody was a SharePoint site owner, how does that change if they're now a team owner?
It's kind of the same scenario, just different product, different settings, really, right?
Yes, that's what I wanted. That's what I wanted to hear. It's actually same thing, just different.
Same, but different.
Yeah, exactly the same, but totally different.
Yeah. So okay, I have one more question about the picture of this organization, Melissa. Is that a huge spider shooting lasers out of the eye or something?
Yeah, that disorganization. So
Right.
that comes with anyone's creating a team and then you add in channels, which I'm assuming most of your listeners here know, like what's a team, what's a channel. The channels fall underneath, so if you're thinking information architecture, you've got your teams, then your channels underneath. Well, you can easily end up with duplication or a channel that's under a team where really it probably should be under this different team, and you can end up really disorganized and then wondering who can even see this. Am I sharing this in the right place? And that gets frustrating. No one wants to think about that. That's why people email. It's like, I don't want to think about who has access here, who has access there. When it becomes, like you said, the naming, the things are confusing, there's too many. That's where the disorganization comes in. And then your user adoption fails. And then what do?
Oh yeah, then mayhem starts.
Email.
You guys were supposed to say blame the end user.
Exactly.
Totally
That's
missed
why we have.
you. What? Come on.
Okay, let's pick that up again.
So let's talk a little bit how team owners can actually impact on your Microsoft Teams rollout. So you listed here information architecture, security, communication between team members, and how team members work. So can you elaborate a little bit more on this?
Yeah, so information architecture is when you think about creating teams, getting that site collection, creating channels underneath, which are folders in the document library, getting your files all, mishmashed in there. So really your team owners, or the people creating teams, are basically deciding your information architecture in a way. So security is who has access to what. And then also, so guest access is set at your tenant level, but still deciding who in your organization has access to what. Communication, because there's a whole bunch of team settings that can change the communication. So they can turn off certain things. They can turn off certain things for team members, like being able to edit and delete and do things to their messages. The GIFs, it can be turned off. They can put a content rating, just like I gave you guys a content rating before coming on the show this time to be PG. And
we try hard.
And then how your team members work, so they can decide if they don't want people to be able to add tabs or not. So if someone's used to being able to add tabs, like, oh, I've got this spreadsheet and I want everyone to see it, let me add a tab. Team member or team owners can turn that off. They can change which apps, they can decide which apps can be added, which third-party services can be added into tabs. Just general, like how they're working together. And if that's different in every team, it's probably not going to be great.
Yeah.
So are there any how do you call that, characteristics for a good team owner? So a good team owner, what kind of person is that? Is that an extrovert? Is that somebody who's well connected in the organization? Is that somebody who's a subject matter expert? What kind of person is a good team owner?
He needs a top hat.
You need a top hat. Now, do you need to be a manager, for example? Do you need to be the manager of a department or the project manager in order to be owner of the team for the project?
You have,
maybe.
I would say you would need to be somebody who likes technology, or at least is willing to learn. Some people, the minute they go to learn something, they're with technology, they don't want to, and they just become frustrated, and this is just another job, another thing, and like bad attitude. We definitely saw that as a government contractor for SharePoint, where people are given this duty and like they were super mad about it. I don't know. I never got that totally, but there was some real angry site owners that I met.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Right? You guys did.
Why do we have to move from Skype? This works. No, it's a consumer product. We don't use that at the work floor, but it works. I don't want to change.
Yeah, they should be someone who's open-minded, and I don't think you have to be an extrovert, but I think you have to be willing. You want to help people. You generally want success for your project, and you want people to have an easier job, and you want to be able to get your job done quickly
Yeah.
and efficiently. So I think sometimes it does make sense to have it be the project manager or manager if they're into technology and want to do this, because then it's like, they're probably the ones who have to make access decisions and stuff like that. Or if like they'll be the ones like, I don't want any of you deleting your messages because I want to be able to like read everything, stuff
Yeah.
like they would be the ones who would want to do that. And if you have just kind of this other team member, they're probably gonna need to consult with that person anyway. But it depends, right?
Yeah.
It depends. Yes.
Depends.
Yes.
So, I mean, ideally, you would have those people. If you remember the adoption curve of people in the organization, you have the innovators, which are the kind of the hardcore nerds and are the super techies, and they want to find out everything. They want to do all by themselves. And you have the early adopters, and then you have the majority following after that. So ideally, you would have the innovators and the early adopters in the beginning picking up the role as a team owner, but it's not always the case that those guys are in that type of a role, because even laggards would be like project managers who would need to create a team, but they are just so stuck in the old ways of working that for them it's just too hard to break from the new, or from the old patterns and come into the new ways of working. So as said, ideally you would have the innovators and the early adopters, but these are quite hard to spot. So you would need to implement strategies how to find them and how to empower them in the organization to drag everyone else behind.
I would say picking your happy site owners.
Yeah.
Yeah, make them champions.
Yeah, if you've got like really great site owners, they would probably be good candidates. That's one easy pickings right there.
So you need to be a positive person. You need to be a go-getter. Then you're a perfect team owner. And you have to like technology, of course.
Yeah.
And I would say a good communicator, because that's the other thing is like, if you're going to make a change to your settings, it needs to be communicated. I mean, this comes from a overarching organizational communications plan for things that are changed at the tenant level, but for things that they're going to change even at the team level, those need to be communicated. People might not listen. Maybe you could have a channel in your team of like questions about teams, and